You just said each member of the team is chosen for their unique abilities. He does exactly what I do, but better.
Everything about the Thunderbolts seems really lame, but somehow seems cool at the same time. It's my least anticipated Marvel movie out of the 2025 slate, and yet somehow I think it could quietly come along and be the best. The team roster has been criticised to high heaven, and yeah, you're going to hear me criticise it now. I think people are in their right minds to call out the fact that so many of these characters do the exact same thing. Red Guardian is a Russian mirror of Captain America, a super soldier with peak superhuman strength and speed. Bucky is a Hydra mirror of Captain America, a super soldier with peak superhuman strength and speed. US Agent is a twisted government mirror of Captain America, a, you guessed it, super soldier with peak superhuman strength and speed. Between Bucky, Black Widow and Taskmaster, we have 3 assassins. Hell, Taskmaster was basically Romanov's Winter Soldier in her own movie. Almost all of them use guns and lean on hand-to-hand combat. On the face of it, this team feels quite redundant and in desperate need of some variation. But then again, if their more unique personality traits shine through and the script makes good use of them, then this could work. James Gunn has always been really good at taking 2 characters having similar hero powers and abilities and making it an actual part of the narrative.
Lucky for us,
Bill and Rocket are both the hot-headed tinkerer pilot sharpshooters of the Guardians, but that fact is what leads them to come to blows. I think Gunn has always understood that sometimes 2 people could hate each other because they're so similar, so hopefully Thunderbolts can tap into that animosity. We already have the foundation for said animosity between John Walker and Bucky Barnes. Even though they somewhat teamed up in their last appearance, they're far from friends. And in spite of all these samey powers, one thing is for certain, Marvel has always excelled with super strong gun-toting spy and soldier archetypes. It's true. The action in this movie looks good. It looks damn good. And it's giving more Captain America Winter Soldier vibes than the actual Captain America movie coming out next year. Which is a crying shame.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Bucky looks the coldest he's been in years, pulling off reverse wheelies, back at it with the iconic Cap 2 disc launcher rifle. Hell, I wasn't a fan of him going back to the long hair initially, as I thought the shorter hair was symbolic of his growth, but damn, it looks good. In a group of relatively recent Marvel additions, it's really nice to have him anchoring this story. I hope he gets the most screen time in this out of all of his Marvel appearances.
What's the plan?
John Walker was one of the best things about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a genuinely compelling villain anti-hero depending on who you ask.
Mercy.
He's messed up a bunch of times and is a national failure at the start of this. It will be interesting to see where he goes. Can he redeem himself, or will he embrace his mantle as a more aggressive, psychotic Cap?
It wasn't me!
I'm more lukewarm on the Black Widow characters, as many as 3 in fact. This is basically a Black Widow 2 as well as being a theatrical follow-up to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so I get why Yelena, Taskmaster and Red are all here, but 3 kind of feels like overkill. I don't love any of these characters, but I think there's room to do interesting things with Taskmaster in particular, and she finally has a design that doesn't suck. Yelena could become my favoured Black Widow if they play things well over time, and Florence Pugh has proven time and time again that she's a star, so I guess if I had to trim the fat on this team, it would have to be Red Guardian.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so full. So fueled.
We've already got 2 super soldiers, and I don't find him that funny or interesting. But we'll see. I would love to be proven wrong and end up saying that I love all of these characters. Ghost, on the other hand, she was easily the highlight of Ant-Man and the Wasp. She had a great look and awesome powers to really complement the tiny Avengers' skills. Her backstory was a little rushed, but I'm happy a legitimate past villain in the MCU is coming back for this team-up. She bucks the assassin super soldier trend by having powers of intangibility, which look cool and have already been used to awesome effect. I love the choreography and camera work of seeing her catch that knife and throw it at Walker. Then again, for the plus of having a legitimate MCU villain in this movie, there's the issue that we simply don't have enough of them. I'm really saddened that we don't have 2 stellar MCU villains in particular. Ones that are both alive, kick-ass, and have been sorely underutilised in spite of 2 stellar first appearances. I'm of course talking about Zemo and the Abomination. Zemo founded the team in the comics. He's the perfect kind of morally grey Machiavellian villain that would work perfectly here. If I have to get 3 Black Widow characters, why can't I get 3 Falcon and the Winter Soldier characters?
He's out of line, but he's right.
He's also a character that relies more on his wits than his fighting prowess, so it would have made the skill set of the team a little bit more diverse.
Is that all you got?
Then there's Emil Blonsky. I'm largely going to ignore what She-Hulk did to him because I really didn't enjoy that. I don't mind utilising MCU characters for comedy, even the ones that are typically dark and moody. A good example of this is Daredevil in that same show, but goofy comedy Blonsky did not work at all. I wish they'd held off following his Shang-Chi cameo and placed him into this movie.
That would be someone I wouldn't want to fight.
We could have seen his redemption organically grow from the Incredible Hulk to this, and plus, he would have added some much needed oomph to the team. Imagine seeing him go toe to toe with Sentry in this movie. That would be one of the best fights ever in the MCU. But then again, for that complaint, there's another plus. This team is lean. It's been ages since we had a team of 6 to 7 characters. We haven't really had that since the first Guardians movie or the first Avengers movie. Even supposedly smaller team-ups like the undusted Avengers and Endgame or the final roster of Guardians totals like 9 to 10 characters, which works fine, but I am craving a smaller team to really focus on everyone better. This could be the first MCU movie in over a decade to be laser focused on the team dynamic as well as their individual arcs. Everybody could get a decent arc without it feeling overstuffed. You get an arc, you get an arc, you get an arc. Another Guardians comparison, I like that it seems the majority of the team is going to assemble in one big scene early on. That also occurred in Guardians Volume 1. All but one member of the team meet in an epic and hilarious crossover where they all vie for the orb. Here it's a similar setup, even with Bucky acting as the Drax figure, the wild card that enters later on.
Is that Bucky?
I'm hoping this means that the movie doesn't spend too long on having these characters apart and moves at an exciting pace, working towards seeing them together, whether that be in conflict or cooperatively, as soon as possible.
Oh no.
Who are you?
I'm Bob.
And then there's the cherry on top, the thing that could make this movie truly awesome and one of the best things to come out of Phase 5. Sentry.
Who sent you, Bob?
Nobody. You were all sent?
Stephen Yeun had to drop out, and that's a shame. I think he would have killed it, but Louis Pullman is a fine replacement. Not only is the Sentry powerful as hell, meaning we could get some seriously sweet action, his backstory is really cool and something that would seriously shake up the MCU. If you don't want to know, skip to the timecode shown on screen. If you do want to know, the Sentry was basically forced to make the world forget him to save it from what is essentially a dark mirror of himself. There's a lot of dark mirrors going on here. He found out that using his powers was the very thing powering this evil, and he had to make the superheroes of the world forget he ever even existed. In the comics, it was a huge retcon that worked so well within the bounds of its narrative. It was a character with the power level of Superman, but with a very tortured and psychological angle. He could barely leave the house. If the MCU delivers on this character, it would be so good. Imagine if we find out that the Sentry was amongst the original Avengers but we all forgot. Maybe he was present in Infinity War or Civil War. Hell, what if he was around during the Battle of New York, pre-Iron Man? It could be a really good way of looking back on key events in the MCU, especially in time for Doomsday and Secret Wars. Louis Pullman already played a fantastic Bob in Top Gun Maverick, so hopefully it bodes well for this performance. So, paradoxically, all the things working against Thunderbolts are kind of working for it too. I'm probably most excited for Cap 4, even though I'm lukewarm on the trailer, if only because I love Sam and I want his first solo feature to be good and do well. And then it's the Fantastic Four, you can't beat the hype on that, but I could totally see Thunderbolts dropping and surprising everyone in May. It could be Winter Soldier level action with an awesome team of anti-heroes, and hey, maybe they could surprise us with Zemo and Abomination. It's a pipe dream, but stranger things have happened. RDJ Doom and Chris Evans torch in the same weekend, anyone? What did you think of the Thunderbolts trailer? Are you excited? Who is the most compelling character in the team? What villain would you like to see join their ranks? let me know in the comments below. And if you like my Marvel videos, please subscribe and like this video because it helps me out a lot and you get notified of the next video. Thank you. A big thank you to my full fat tier patrons, Dr. Chike, Nathan Shaw, Mike Nandu, and Neil Verma. I'm so chuffed you guys are supporting the channel like this, and your contributions are hugely helpful to keeping the channel shipshape. You absolutely rock, and I can't thank you enough. If you want to get early releases of my videos, or catch up on my latest reviews of Doctor Who, including Dot and Bubble and 73 Yards, then head on over to patreon.com/fullfatvideos.